Hi, I'm Phil. This is my shop. On today's video, I want to have you guys follow along with me as I chase down a wild hare here. Now, one of the most important parts of my small shop's success are these little sawhorses here. They were originally from ShopNotes magazine called Stacking Sawhorse. Shameless plug, woodsmithplans.com. Check out Stacking Sawhorses. The conceit behind them is that with a full sheet of plywood, you can get 4 of these guys. You're left with 4 great sawhorses and a small pile of sawdust. Chris Fitch, when he did the CNC Basecamp videos, also has the files for producing these on a CNC machine. So if that's your jam, you want to check out that as well. The reason I like these is because they're relatively small and compact. I use them like a traditional saw bench, so I can stand at them with a handsaw and break down long boards. I put the 2 of them together and I have a small assembly surface or a bonus work surface. I'll use it with my cutting station, with my track saw for breaking down smaller panels into project sizes. And by the stacking name, I bring the 2 of them together and I have a much higher work surface that actually has 3 levels on it. So I use this almost like in a larger shop you would use like a parts cart. So I can have this stationed next to my bench or router table and have an organized way of dealing with pieces that need to be cut, pieces that are in progress, and then maybe some tools and accessories down on the 3rd level. So they're really versatile. I think everybody should have them. I'll even fight you about it. However, recently, I was working on a carving project. I'm making a shrink box, actually 3 of them here. And in the process, there's just a lot of mallet and gouge work to remove all of this material on the inside. And while these are pretty stout on their own, I was thinking, what if there was, I don't know, like a Clydesdale version of these sawhorses? So that's what I want to do. I have some leftover plywood scraps. This stuff is really cool. We've been using it at Woodsmith a lot. It's kind of your combination core plywood, but instead of having a face veneer, it's just the raw MDF on the outside surfaces. So you have that smooth flatness of MDF with the veneer core on the inside for a little bit of extra strength, and not as heavy as just straight up MDF either. I also have the template for making the legs of these, so we'll do a lot of template routing work here. And now the original version has a 3/4 inch thick plywood top with a couple of rails underneath it. However, I have this chunk of thick oak. It's about 2 1/4 inches thick, and I think that would make a really sweet, solid top. So I'm going to use that instead of plywood, kind of like a little mini bench here in the shop. Now what I did is to draw out with a pencil on my really big piece of oak. And then I took that over to the bandsaw and cut a straight edge. The edge was pretty straight, but I decided to bring it back over here to the bench and use a plane and clean it up to get it relatively straight. That way I could mark the opposite side, again with a straight edge, set up the rip fence on the bandsaw this time, and cut the piece to its final width. Well, still a little oversized at this point. I'll take care of that once we have the sides or the ends done. From there though, what was more important is that it made it small enough to be able to run through the planer. I wanted to be able to put a clean face on both surfaces of this top piece. And what it did is also expose some of the really cool grain and coloring on this piece. From there, it was time for a little bit of layout work. I grabbed my template and then traced it out on the 2 end blanks that I have. I'm taking 2 different approaches here just based on the material that I have. On one piece, it's just a single layer of that plywood where I trace that profile onto it. However, the other piece was left over from having glued up 2 layers of this, which is what I want overall. So what I'm going to do after tracing this is then cut dado across the top that's going to accept the full thickness of the top piece. And then I'll come back and cut another dado for the shelf down below. We'll take care of all of that at the router table. The original sides on the Sawhorses are a single layer of plywood with a rabbet at the top and a dado down at the bottom to hold the shelf. On my double layer versions, I'm beefing things up and adding a lot more strength. On the one where I'm starting with a single layer, I used the template to lay out the size, cut it to rough shape, and then flush trimmed it to the size of the template. What I then did is cut two smaller pieces of plywood that I glued and nailed to the existing version. I cut them to roughly the right size and then laid out a mark that matches the thickness of my top. I did the same thing with a spacer to, in a sense, create a dado here and glued that in place. On the double layer version, what I ended up doing is cutting it to size and then flush trimming it. Then I used a straight bit over in the router table and cut a really deep dado. This brings it kind of closer into mortise territory than just a simple dado. Then with the router table, I also made a wide mortise that will accept the thickness of the top. On both of these, you'll see that I also created a mortise here for the supporting spine underneath the shelf, just to give that a little bit more of an anchor point too. You could still see the little dimples left over from the Forstner bit that I used to drill out most of the waste and then clean things up with a chisel. Now on both of these, I want this big Sawhorse to be able to stack and be stacked with my other ones. So I needed to trim away the inner part of the tab so that this will be able to slide over the top of my existing Sawhorses. The final step was to drill some pilot holes for the screws that I'm going to use to hold everything together. Well, that and a good slather of glue here and the anchor points of my deep joinery here. For the screws, I'm using these long structural construction screws that have a big wide head that will pull the sides into both the shelf and the top. We're getting closer to the assembly and the final details that need to take place there. That brings us to the top, and again, there's not a lot of work going on here. One of the main things that I did is to lay out the slope of how this top needs to match the angle of the side pieces. To shape it, I'm using a draw knife to remove and create wide bevels here to get rid of most of the waste. Then what I can do is just go to a hand plane and then smooth that out so that I have a nice consistent edge. I'll probably wait until after assembly to do the final trimming on it, just to make sure that it matches exactly the Sawhorse. Last night I wrapped up work on my Clydesdale Sawhorse. There were several stages to this process. The first of those being is I wanted a finger grip on the end of the top here in order to be able to carry the Sawhorse from the ends. I did this by marking two lines in pencil and then darkening it with a marker, and then chopped it out using a gouge and a mallet. There's other ways to do this, but I like doing it this way, in spite of the fact that it was across that tough white oak end grain. From there, what I did is dry assembled the whole thing so that I could drill the pilot holes into the top as well as the shelf and the stretcher underneath for those long screws that I'm going to be using. Then it's take everything apart again, and then using a router and a small chamfer bit, I eased all the edges around the inside and outside of the end pieces just to soften those up and protect them from some wear and tear. Now it's going to get plenty of use and dings and scratches, but I can at least prevent the process of it splintering. As for the assembly, again, that's going to take place in stages. Now the main structural strength here is provided by those screws, but I still wanted to glue up this assembly. So I started by putting a coat of glue on the end of the top in that end grain and allowed that glue to wick in. Set the top aside for now. Then with one of the ends, I put in a healthy coat of glue in the rabbet on the top of the ends, and then in the dado, and then the mortise for the stretcher, and brushed that all out pretty well so I had a good even coat all the way around. Then I could fit the end into place, did the same thing with the glue on the opposite end, and then start to bring everything together with at last fitting the top. Then with clamps in place and making sure everything was positioned correctly, I could drive those screws. Here it helps to have some wax on hand to lubricate the screws as they're driven into place. Once that was done and the glue was dry, I was able to put this in my bench vise, and then using one of my hand planes was able to flush up the bevel on the shelf below and then bring the top level and flat here as well. I also took some time to do a little chamfer work on the top and then ease the underside of the edges just to be able to eliminate those sharp surfaces that will come in contact with your hands as you're moving this around the shop. I put on 2 coats of tung oil on this thing. I was originally going to paint the ends, but I really like how the color of the ends, the white oak, and these fasteners all play together. The final step in the process was to add some leather feet around that wrap around the bottom. There's a good chance that these are going to get used inside, and I don't want to scratch up the floors. And again, it also helps the bottom of the feet from splintering out as this gets shifted around. I really do think that this Sawhorse design is ideal for a small shop. It's been perfect for mine. I use it as a saw bench when I'm working with hand saws to cross-cut long boards, even with some of my power tools. And then for carving, one of the main reasons that I wanted to use it is that I can be able to sit on it and hold the workpiece right in place. It's the perfect height for me. And being able to stack them and use them in pairs is also a great way to add another bonus work surface or even just some shelves to hold some workpieces while you're doing something in the shop. I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time from my shop here. Bye.